So my name is Betsy Casañas. I'm a community artist, public artist. I do murals. This is one of many that I've done this year already since the late April. And yeah, I just did the intro.
And hi, my name is Julissa Colón, and I'm the director of Centro here at Holyoke Community College.
Right now there is a new mural happening inside the community center in Holyoke Community College. And we are just in the process of having this mural created with the help of community and members of Holyoke Community College as well. So tell us a little bit about what is this mural about, all the different people represented in here and its connection with the center.
Okay, so basically I actually started with Beyond Walls. I started with the mural outside. I'm not sure if you saw the, so we did a mural outside when, this is my first time in Holyoke, so when I was told about Holyoke Community College, I was interested in the demographics, who the audience was going to be, who the folks were going to be, and then when we found out there was a large Latino population, mostly Puerto Rican, with the outside mural, I decided to do a classroom of Tata Cepeda. So it's a bomba classroom, them getting ready for a performance. The inside, because we were going to be working with El Centro, I spoke with Julissa beforehand just to kind of figure out what the demographics of the student population was. And, you know, I've been letting it kind of marinate to decide. I didn't know what I was going to do until maybe a week or so before. But because it's, you know, an institution, a school, I wanted there to be an element of history behind it. So with this particular mural, we focused on the folks that are here. So we actually have Latino leaders from just different time period, doing very, very different things, and some way or another have impacted their communities or the world in itself, right? So really influential folks, and you know, basically having the students really feel like they're represented in this particular area of the school. I also designed this one in a very different way that I've designed the other ones. With this one, because it's a very long, thin hallway, and I wanted to be able to have the students and staff involved in the process. I created it in a way where it was mostly flat painting, so that we could still get a lot of stories. I think we have on the wall about 18 different figures from Puerto Rico, Chile, Honduras, Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic. I mean, we have a lot of different folks represented. Obviously not everyone, but there's always a part 2 and a part 3.
That's right, next time,
right? So, but the idea was to have folks really feel connected and get familiar with folks that they didn't know the story of, you know? So I designed, I always say we,
That's right.
I talk about the work that I do as a we.
I'm like, it's her. Let's just say this is the genius right here. You designed it.
It's like I designed it with the intention of having folks participate. And it's still a pretty like complex design. There's 16 figures in the entire mural, but it's only a 3-color mural. So it's set up like a stencil. It has El Centro running through the back of them, the letters El Centro, and then the names of every single figure that's in the mural is going to be written across at some part on their body, and a document with just a wiki bios, the very first part that gives you like a quick like synopsis of who the person is. So, and then if anybody wants to do a deep dive, this is like a starting point.
Yeah.
So the idea is to give folks like a starting point to get familiar with the history of Latin America. So that's kind of what my intention was. We have another wall here that's going to be painted, and that one, you know, I haven't finalized the design, but I think today kind of I know what I'm doing.
It's been marinating. It's been marinating.
That's how I kind of have to work, because this is mural number 7 in the last like 7 weeks that I've done. Like every 10 days we've started a new mural, and all of them have been big. So right before this I was in Springfield and I painted a mural there, and then before that I was outside painting that one, and then, you know, I've been jumping from different cities before that. And we continue with this kind of schedule every 10 days to 15 days doing a brand new mural until November. So sometimes when I'm working on the designs, if we're doing projects that are on the go, sometimes we're like designing first, but we're always like really, I try to be really thoughtful with the designs, really thoughtful with the designs, and really paying attention to who the audience is, how the folks are going to be interacting with the mural, and how it could play an impact in the environment that it's in.
Yes.
One thing that it's been really beautiful to appreciate in the last work you have done with the mural outside here in Holyoke Community College, this one being made as we talk, and also the latest one you created in Springfield, they all have a deep connection with Latin American roots.
Yes.
How does this make you feel, being able to express and represent Latin American identity in these beautiful spaces that are open for the public to enjoy?
Well, I think a lot of my work is about kind of bringing to the forefront like everyday stories, right? Everyday stories. I really kind of like highlighting and sharing the people's story, right? So Springfield, it is a very local bomba group that's trying to do work that's, you know, preservation of culture.
Yes.
You know, working with the community, teaching bomba, playing bomba, performing bomba. You know, they're doing it, and they're doing it, and they're doing it no matter what, right? So for me, that's really inspiring. I'm always really inspired by that connection to this, you know, this need to bring the island here. And I think the diaspora has always, I mean, there's always a nostalgic sense of that connection, and that really like yearning for some of that to be here. So I'm always really inspired by things like that, by folks. I'm inspired by the, you know, the most basic story of folks doing what they need to do in order to provide for you know, their community and their family, and that struggle. I think that's for me the most inspiring. Now working in Latino communities, I mean, obviously for me, it like I'm from the diaspora. I grew up in Philadelphia. We weren't taught Latino history. We weren't taught you know, like the important figures from our community. If we wanted to learn, you either had to be in a Latino studies department, or you had to go out and find it yourself. And I had to find it myself. I was never taught anything with Latino leaders in the curriculums that I was in. So this is all, like every single project I learn about a new person. I learn about a new thing. And that's the kind of work. This kind of work is about like constant research in order to be able to go into a community and tell the story of that particular community with integrity. You know, and with like a lot of love. So I'm always really happy, you know. I mean, I'm getting lumpy. A lump in my throat. I think for me, like doing work where I'm a crybaby. Total llorona.
That's the joy. That's the love of it.
Yeah, no, I think really having an impact on how people feel that they are a vital part of the story is like the essence of the work that I'm trying to bring, right? It's absolutely important, you know, because I feel like for a really long time, the way that Latinos and Black and Brown communities have been represented in social media, on TV, I mean, it's so stereotypical, and I feel like as artists, we have control of transforming that narrative, right? And I think that for me, it brings me so much joy to see how people are impacted, you know, by these stories, and really understanding like how essential their voice is, how essential their voice is, how important our contributions to these spaces are, and having that big and plastered on the walls, you know, and it's like, you know, you are part of this, and you know, you're this idea of being seen, you know, it's beautiful. And like I went to I was painting in Springfield, and I saw this man watching me for a while, and I kept looking because I thought he looked familiar. I'm like, who is that? And he was there for like half an hour, and he came over, and he was like, my grandma used to live in this building, and he was like 65 years old. And he was like being a llorón. He was like, he had glasses on, like he's covering his eyes, and he was just like, she used to live in this building. She lived right on the 4th floor, of right next to where I was painting. And he was like, to be honest, he was trying to be honest, it makes me emotional. But he was already crying. He was
like, I can see it.
So it was really sweet, like, you know, to see that connection. And, you know, I mean, it's like a kind of a rope back, this connection back to our ancestors, this connection back to our families, this connection back to like all of the nostalgic things that we hold with like a lot of love, you know. And I think that that for me, it's important to do this in communities of the diaspora. You know, I do this all over the place, but in communities of the diaspora, it's like an extra special thing because it's being held on like such a treasure. And there's such a lack of information on what we've done, that I think this kind of work is like extremely important for me.
Exposure.
So Julissa, how do you experience? How are you experiencing right now having Betsy creating this amazing, beautiful work in a space that you know it will be the perfect perspective of view for representation of many students in this community at HCC, and also an artistic representation of what sometimes it goes by just as something you will see as a stereotypical token in media or institutions, but now it's being honored, celebrated, and represented in a respectful, artistic, and dignifying way.
I have such respect for Betsy and her work and watching her process. I think if you ask anybody here in HCC, particularly in the Latinx community, you know that we have wanted this for so long. We have wanted to beautify our walls, and more than that, you know, for us in El Centro specifically, how, you know, our population is serving our community, serving Latinx students, Black and brown communities across HCC. Like, this is a dream come true for us. And to have a Puerto Rican woman come and bring her genius and the beauty of a whole world of Latinx folks, right? Like, esta pared no solamente tiene puertorriqueños, right? Y yo soy puertorriqueña, you know, proud Boricua here. But what she did was she expanded on the legacy that all of our students will be able to see themselves there, right? And I was talking to my team, and I was like, you know, I'm like, look, it's this person and that person. I'll leave it a surprise so people can come see it and know who they are. But they were like, oh, I don't know this person. I don't know that person. And guess what? It already invited conversation, right? And I can imagine that in September when my students walk in and they come and they see this really incredible mural here, and they're going to be asking those questions of people who look like them, right? And there's something incredibly powerful. You talked about being seen. And I think we've created an opportunity, and I'm really grateful, you know, for the folks who made this happen on campus to say that representation does matter. And beyond representation, action matters. And these people in this space took action in all sorts of different ways. And they made an impact on our communities, right? In the world. And it creates an opportunity for students to see themselves in a different light, to experience the power of what they can bring to the space. And that's what El Centro is. El Centro is a space for students to come and find belonging and find community y encontrar el poder que ellos ya traen, right? Like they already have that in them. Our students are powerful and smart and resilient. And I think too many times their story has been told differently. And here, I think we're bringing to life, like, no, you belong here. Yeah. And not only do you belong, you're part of the building and you're part of the shifting and the transformation that HCC is experiencing. And I'm just grateful to be here in this space when it's happening. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I sit here, I think I've been saying, this is so wild. I think I've said that so many times because it's a labor of love. And today especially was really beautiful, having the community come. So we had alum come, staff come, faculty came, like all these people came and painted their mark, right? Yeah. And they can say, yo fui parte de eso, right? And how incredible that is as part of community, like to be able to own that and see yourself in it. And yeah, I'm grateful. I'm really, really grateful.
Betsy, how can you somehow summarize what has been so far your experience being here in Holyoke?
I tell you, like Holyoke has been super inspiring. You know, I'm from Philly, so I grew up in a Puerto Rican neighborhood in Philadelphia. It's very like industrial as well. I actually live, like my home in Philly is on a square where all of the building owners, all of the owners of the homes around the square were the owners of the mills in the neighborhood. My house in particular was the first women's hospital in Philadelphia.
Wow.
So, you know, but I feel like there's something happening here that has been just really beautiful to see. Like there's so many businesses that seem to be thriving, like in the community, being out and about and kind of, you know, running around, checking out all of the other different murals because of the festival, and being able to kind of go to the neighborhood. And it's like really like just rustic and beautiful with the canals, and like there's so many things about the neighborhood that are so charming. And I really love to see like the businesses in the community that are completely packed with folks, and people are really like supporting these local businesses. I got to meet a lot of like local folks, and you know, I met Chloe, which at, you know, the first day that we met after the talk at this thing, I think we started talking, and it was just like we didn't stop talking for like an hour. And it's like, you know, she shared her story with me and the impact that Holyoke Community College has made on her. And it was so powerful, you know, it was so beautiful. And it is, I think it's so nice to be able to see how much of an impact this institution has made on the Latino community, and how it's been like a driving force in changing some of the circumstances, right, that people were living in before, and really opening up the possibility of something else. And right, and it's just like, you know, it's a beautiful thing to see yourself on the walls and have your story shared with you. But when an institution starts paying attention to you and also gives you what you need and nurtures you and really has you understand that you can be more than what you've imagined, like that's really where like things begin to change.
Well, thank you so much, Betsy, for bringing this beautiful representation of our culture, our people, and for also getting to know you and possibly being an inspiration for many emerging local artists to follow in your steps.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here.
No. Thank you.
Aprecia.
Yeah. No, I'm super happy to be here.